Let's start. What is your name?
My name is Nicholas Nowak.
And what do you do?
So currently, my current role is an RN clinical lead. I work at Advocate Christ Medical Center on the rapid response team. So what led me to nursing and where I grew up, so I grew up on the south side of Chicago, kind of like by the Oak Lawn area, Hickory Hills area. I knew I eventually wanted to like help people or like, make a difference, like have a career where I left and I was like, oh, I made a positive impact on somebody's life. I didn't want to kind of do like the 9 to 5 business, hours, just be like, oh, just kind of going through the motions. I want to feel like I wanted to make a positive impact. So I thought like healthcare for sure. So me being a nurse means that like I truly advocate for people and I want to make a difference in people's lives. And I think that, with my couple of jobs, I try to tackle that on a bunch of different scales, but so many avenues of nursing and met so many amazing people. So being a professional nurse is also just amazing. So a couple lessons that I've learned from my nursing career, and hopefully it'll help a future generation of nursing, just take it slow. I think that especially as a new nurse, I was just very task oriented and I just would kind of overwhelm myself with tasks. I think in the beginning of everybody's nursing career, you have like this like image of like what you're gonna do, and it's a little bit different once you get out of nursing school, because it's not really like real life hospital situations or whatever care area you end up in. But the biggest thing is just to slow down, really take that step back and be like, you know what, I'm doing everything, because that's where you make mistakes. If you're kind of in your head and you're overwhelmed, and I probably did that myself more than my actual patients, looking back now. Another thing is never stop asking questions. And then the last thing is don't overcomplicate it. I think that, nurses are that middleman now of so many different things they're working on. They got maybe 3 patients that they're taking care of, and one's maybe getting discharged or doing discharge paperwork. I think that sometimes you kind of get lost in a lot of different things like checklists and this and charting all these certain things. But at the end of the day, it kind of takes away our focus and our time from actually caring for the patient. Just truly just focusing on the patient first, and all that other stuff can come later. And it'll be easier to finish it once you know your patient super well and you got your assessment down. I'd really make a point for all my teammates and team members to take a break. It's definitely harder, I would say, on our unit, just because rapids can be called at any time. So I really try to take, okay, if there's 4 of us working, when you're going on break, just say we're going on break, whether you can go down to the cafeteria and kind of disconnect for 30 minutes, get away from the constant. And I think that's where nurses kind of feel overwhelmed, and they kind of get that burnout feeling, is they don't get that time to kind of just desensitize their bodies and get away from the situation, away from the nurse station just for a little bit. I think alarm fatigue, especially in critical care and even on the floors, there's so many alarms, and it's good, right? You know, if you really truly think about, a critical care unit, you got your IV pulse, you got the Philips monitor or the EKG things that are constantly beeping, your vitals machines are beeping, call lights are beeping, everything's stinging, right? And everybody's pulling you. So to take that 30-minute, 45-minute uninterrupted break and be like, hey, you know what, can you watch my people? And just going there and just de-stressing into like a low stimulation area, it makes the difference. We're not there for 4 hours, right? We're there for 12 hours, and it usually turns into 13 before you give report and stuff. So really taking that time away, just to step away in those high stress areas of hospitals means all the difference. So a nursing moment that stands out where I truly felt like I gave it my all was during the COVID-19 pandemic. I was a newer nurse, and I actually got nominated for a Daisy Award for this. You try to make the best of every situation. So you gotta put your time in, you gotta work night shift, you gotta get those hours in. But really truly seeing, and trying to go back into the COVID-19 mindset where like these patients were critically ill and families weren't able to visit, right? We didn't have any visitors. The only person that was in those rooms were essentially just the nurses, right? So we had some iPads that we were able to go around and connect with family, and a lot of our patients unfortunately were intubated and on ventilator support and on a lot of other support machines. And I would go in there and I would talk to them like just regular humans, even though they were sedated and they probably couldn't hear me. And the ventilator was doing all the work to help like recover their lungs. We had our computers in the room that were able to, that had our electronic medical records, we were able to scan all of our meds and stuff. But they also had internet, so I would just, look on YouTube and just like blast like super good songs, and we would do like bath time, and I'd be like singing, and I think that we just get kind of lost and we lose perspective of, these are truly humans. I know that they're intubated and sedated and they're not talking to us, but just really staying grounded in that. And it's like, this is somebody's loved one that they can't see. And I think that losing those family members, we're like, oh gosh, like it was just us, we were only talking to ourselves, right? A lot of our patients were super sick. So just really bringing that like humanitarian aspect to the bedside and just be like, yeah, these are still humans. Like, let's do this. And, Mr. John Doe, how are you doing? Even though that human touch, that kind of stuff, I think it meant a lot to those patients that weren't able to have those family members that were able to kind of do that stuff. So I try to take those things and just try to, reflect that in my practice.